Hello everyone, welcome back to SwitchUp. Now, once again, a massive thanks to Alex from SwitchCorner who covered Gamescom for us this year. We sent him over and he had a good time, so a big thank you to him. He's created a list of all of the major announcements for Switch 1 and 2. We're going to have a little chat about those and our favourites.
Yeah, he's going to talk you through some of the bits he's seen and some of the highlights of the week, as Mark just said. But do stick around to the end because Mark and I will be talking about some of the games that we're most looking forward to as a result of what was shown at Gamescom 2025.
So what was Gamescom like for Nintendo Switch? Well, let's find out.
So let's start with Kronos, the New Dawn. This is Bloober Team's new third-person survival horror. You jump between a wasteland crawling with mutated creatures called orphans and 1980s Poland. You're trying to stop these monsters, or at least that's kind of what I'm gathering. It sounds cool, and honestly as a concept it is, but I'll be honest, hasn't sold me yet. On the Switch 2, where I played, I was dropped into a tiny corridor section, and yeah, visually, unfortunately, a little rough. Performance seemed okay overall, but once the fire attack started flying off, which is a big part of the combat as well, the frame rate definitely dipped. And that's important because these creatures in this world, they mutate, they basically combine, and you need to stop them with fire. So you're going to be doing that a lot. Also, I will note the sensitivity. This was very much a demo, no settings or anything else, but it was just way too low by default. So yeah, the thing is as well with this one, I've got to say I was stuck in a room with lots of players on PC and they were in these huge open areas while I was stuck in tiny hallways. Kind of makes me wonder, how is this going to hold up when the game actually really opens up? So yeah, right now I'm skeptical, I'm hopeful, fingers crossed, all that good stuff. But yeah, Kronos, not quite as excited as I maybe anticipated being. Next up then, Kirby Air Riders, the sequel to the GameCube's Air Ride, and honestly, it completely just flipped my expectations. I actually went in thinking, okay, this is going to be, easy Mario Kart, but actually, nope, totally different. Now, I played City Trial mode. It's basically 5 minutes roaming around this open map, you're collecting power-ups, you're finding the best vehicle, and then it throws you into a random event. It's a simple idea, but it is a blast. And here's the interesting bit. It's still very simplistic. It's only 2 buttons. Even acceleration is automatic, but the speed, it gets wild and way beyond Mario Kart. And yes, so basically it's super accessible. Anyone can pick it up. But I think give this a year and I guarantee you're going to see hardcore players just mastering routes, kind of maxing out builds, the whole works. So I think this one could actually be something special. Call of the Elder Gods is a sequel to Call of the Sea. This one is pulling from Lovecraft's The Shadow Out of Time. Now, Call of the Sea never released on Switch. I played it on Xbox. Hopefully we see that first game too. But here you're basically playing as 2 characters, a professor plagued by visions and a student haunted by dreams of this artifact. You'll basically swap between them, solving puzzles across New England mansions, the Australian outback, all sorts. It's basically going to take you across the globe. Now, I don't want to spoil it too much, but it picks up directly after the first game, and here's why I'm excited. The devs actually had a Switch 2. They were showing it on the hardware. It looked beautiful. I love the first game. So yeah, for me, this one, instant, just must play. Lost Hellden then is a classic kind of JRPG set on the planet Era, where everyone's bound to one of the 7 deadly sins as a baby. Now, if you give in, you basically transform into a beast. Now, the story, it's following twin brothers. One is cursed with all 7 sins, the other with none. And in my short demo, it seems like we're actually chasing after one of them. Now, I didn't get a ton of detail, but it won me over. Gorgeous, hand-painted locations, characters I immediately liked, and a combat system that actually mixes real-time movement with turn-based actions. So the twist as well, and this is the big thing for me, defense here is actually reactive. So you actually input blocks and counters and dodges. So you need to get out of the way. It keeps it very involved. So yeah, love the look of it. Really excited as well. I've actually been watching this game now for at least like a couple of years. Then there's I Hate This Place. This is an isometric survival horror. It's an award-winning comic, I believe. I actually have no knowledge of it. But you're basically playing as this character who accidentally summons this evil force, and now you're trapped in a cursed location. It's definitely got that kind of bold comic book style. It's very kind of 80s B-movie horror vibes. And you expect to be scavenging and crafting during the experience, basically. I'm not sure if it's going to be wave-based or constant terror, but the location I had, it was just a single map, and honestly, I like most of what I saw, but there's definitely a few elements that I do question. First of all, the combat felt decent, and I actually love the art style as well. But some of the puzzles, this is the big thing, they felt inconsistent, like I powered something on with a taser early on. But when it came to a generator that also needed power, the same logic didn't work. I had to use a different generator elsewhere. See, I'm not kind of like fully sold, but I'm definitely intrigued, you know, and sometimes that's enough. I'll definitely be checking it out, no question about it. So I think it's worth keeping an eye on. Reanimal then comes from the team behind Little Nightmares, and it feels more horror-focused. Now, narrative-wise, I didn't get much in my 30-minute session. There was no one to talk to. It was just like a streaming room, basically, but definitely creepy. What I do like is the controls are sharper than Little Nightmares. It's less cinematic, more responsive, and that really works here. Like the platforming, the jumping, it feels so much better. Enemies as well are very relentless. They actually chased me, and the whole thing, yeah, definitely had me a little bit more, I guess, on edge compared to Little Nightmares. It wasn't like a get spotted, you fail instantly. You can actually attempt to escape. So yeah, with this one, left with more questions than answers, but I definitely liked what I played. The Eternal Life of Goldman then is a new action platformer. Really interesting concept, this one. Now, it didn't give me a lot what I did play, but basically you're exploring this set of islands. There's something about saving the day, maybe a creature. It's a really interesting narrative concept. What I love though is the world itself. It's incredibly vibrant, the design, the visuals are beautiful, but it's kind of twisted at the same time. There's like a fairy tales turned into nightmares almost. And the walking stick mechanic is brilliant. You can swap parts, so the top, the middle, the bottom. So you might be a hook 1 minute, a pogo stick the next, and who knows where it will go, but it seems it's going to be whatever you need. See, I didn't see much of the story yet. The tone's definitely unique. There's definitely a dark edge to it that it gave kind of a hint at in my time. But this game after the event has definitely stuck with me. Ball Pit then I went into with the expectation of it being a roguelike brick breaker. And to a certain extent it is that, but I'd say it's actually way more as well. So basically you're diving into a pit beneath the fallen city of Babylon. You're fighting off hordes, and these balls, your weapons, they're ricocheting everywhere. The twist though with this is all of the upgrades, all of the mechanics, it's just constantly throwing something new at you. Looking online, there's over 60 ball types that you can fuse into these different combos. So yeah, it is part brick breaker, part kind of vampire survivors, but there's also an element as well that I'm seeing of almost city builder. You're basically rebuilding above ground with these different structures. It is definitely quick though, it's definitely addictive, and I think it's going to be way deeper than it looks. What I do know though is, I was supposed to have like 15 minutes with this game and I was stuck there for at least 40, 45. One of my absolute highlights in Mortal Kombat Collection. This packs a ton of entries for the series and it's been just lovingly crafted. That is so very clear. It's even featuring games that, well, let's say they're not celebrated. Things like Mythology's Sub-Zero. The game, seeing it again, actually trying to get hands on is still just as brutal as you remember. But what really impressed? All of the games with online play feature rollback netcode. Plus, it's a physical release, and in 2025, that is important. Then it's from the same team that did Tetris Forever and the Llamasoft collection, so you're getting this basically playable museum interfused behind the scenes. It's almost like 3 hours of documentary-style extras, and fans are gonna absolutely just adore it. And I myself, I'm not a hardcore MK fan, but it felt great to play, and I think they've actually nailed this one. Last one then, and my game of the show, quite frankly, Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate. This is the full package here. It's Cloud Story plus the Intermission DLC, and it just, yeah, incredible. The game itself, you probably all know already, but like real-time combat, expanded storyline, just fantastic game. I suggest any RPG fan checks it out. But what I want to focus on here is it looks stunning on Switch 2. Now, I played the first hour in handheld, and there was no like pre-saved file or things I couldn't see. They were just like, pick it up, play it, go for it. Love that. And yet it ran perfectly. So yeah, for me, this is how you do a Switch 2 port. And if this is what the system can pull off with some effort, this is what we need to see from all developers. You know, after unfortunately checking out Elden Ring and Borderlands 4, which are definitely disappointing, this was just, yeah, great to see, basically. Hopefully with Elden Ring and Borderlands, that's just kind of maybe early build or a few months old, who knows. And yeah, hopefully the performance problems go away. But right now, Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate, for me, on Switch 2, by far the highlight of Gamescom. So yeah, that's my quick Gamescom roundup. Some definite hits, a few misses, but overall a really strong show when you actually got to the floor itself. A couple of other shoutouts that I didn't cover in this one, but Star Sander Island, a cozy game with real big potential. It's got like this building mechanic as well as the typical, jobs and all that good stuff. Bubsy 4D, shaping up very nicely. It's got this big speedrunner element that I didn't expect. Oh, and I also checked out the new SpongeBob. Definitely keeping my eye on that one. I only got about 15 minutes with it, but from what I saw, platforming feels really good, and I think fans of SpongeBob platformers are definitely going to be impressed.
So thanks again to Alex for going through all of that for us and for attending Gamescom for us as well. Do check his channel out, SwitchCorner. There will be a link to it in the description of this video. As we said at the start, we're going to have a chat now about some of the games that caught our eye as we watched Alex's content and obviously spoke to him throughout the week. So one of mine was on the opening night, funny enough, and that's that He-Man Masters of the Universe game. That was a surprise, wasn't it? I mean, the fact it goes, because when Alex first mentioned it, because I was out at the time, I didn't see the opening night live, and I had a horrible feeling it was going to be based on one of the newer shows. There's one called like Revelations and stuff, but no, it's proper old school 80s He-Man, and it's a beat 'em up again. Perfect.
Nice.
Just a perfect idea, isn't it?
Yeah, this looks quality. Is this .emu?
Bitmap Bureau is this one, and they've done a few games on Switch. I think they did things like Xenocrisis. I believe that was them. I might be wrong there. But we've had a few recently, these beat-em-ups based on classic kind of 80s cartoons, or obviously comics before that, things like that. And there's that Marvel one coming soon as well, another beat-em-up. And it's from the team that are doing that new Terminator 2 game as well, isn't it? Which isn't a beat-em-up, I don't believe. I think that's more of a platformer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like a run and gun, but looks equally as good. But the He-Man one was a very pleasant surprise for me.
I'm actually surprised we didn't see more about the Terminator.
Yes, I am actually, but just judge on what I've seen away from Gamescom, that looks great, doesn't it? That looks very good.
Absolutely, Parker. For me, the highlight, or one of them as well, was that Kronos game. I do wonder what Bloober Team will do. Like, I know people really rate them for their work on what they did, the
Layers of Fear, didn't they, and other bits and bobs. Blair Witch, wasn't it, as well?
But actually, Layers of Fear, I think, was probably the highlight, and then Layers of Fear 2 was a bit,
Yeah, I think they got caught between two stools with that one, because they introduced a threat, like a proper threat that chased you, and it brought the game down. But in the options to that game, there was a way that you could turn off, even having that. So I think they themselves probably knew, we're not quite sure about this. Yeah, you know what I mean? But this is completely different, obviously. This is a third-person game.
Yeah, you don't, I guess because they don't have is the word pedigree for this genre?
Yeah, they don't, as far as I know, they don't have a huge amount of experience. I know they did do the port of Silent Hill 2, or not port, sorry, a remake. So they do have some experience here, but it's not their bread and butter, I wouldn't say.
Do you know what? I totally forgot they did that.
Yeah.
And actually, that's put my mind at rest, because it does have a horror element to it. This looks to have that horror element to it. And I was a huge fan of Dead Space. I did the, you remember you used to get platinums? You had to do like a whole pistol-only run.
Yeah. Man.
I did that.
Yeah, I love doing things. I told you the other day, didn't I, in Resident Evil 1?
Yes.
I did the knife-only run. It was great. It was a lot of fun. It was hard. Some of the bosses. Yeah. But it was a lot of fun.
Because I had this thing come up on my phone, just like the end, it's like achieved.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. My next one is the Mortal Kombat collection.
Nice.
Big fighting game fan, big Mortal Kombat fan. Mortal Kombat 2, for me, was, I say the pinnacle of the series. There's a huge amount of nostalgia making me say that. I have to admit that. It's a very difficult game. It was a very unfair game, certainly in the arcade. But I can't help but love it still, despite its flaws. This collection, every time I hear more about it sounds even better. So when it was first revealed, it didn't mention Mortal Kombat Trilogy. It's now since said that's on here.
Yeah.
And it also includes, for better or worse, the Sub-Zero Mythologies platformer that came out on the Nintendo 64, amongst others, which was terrible. Like, it was terrible. It was such a bad game. But if you're going to have a collection, why not whack it on there? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's nice when they do that, isn't it?
Yeah, for better or worse, just stick it all on. But it also has a lot of interviews and what have you, and it was from the people that did Tetris Forever, so they make a good collection. They put a lot of info on there, a lot of archive bits, and as far as I know, this is all on the cartridge as well, which in this day and age is good to hear.
Lovely. My last one, quite an obvious choice, but because I've been playing it simultaneously with Gamescom on PC, is Final Fantasy VII, the remake. Now, by all accounts, it's running pretty damn good on Switch, which is something I would hope. I think Square just, they know what they're doing. They're used to multi-platform releases, multi-console releases, and clearly they've put the legwork in here, and it's one of the, I hate to say it, few games that seems to be that case. The actual core game, if you're a fan of the original, is so cool. It's weird how your brain tells you that certain scenes look the same. Clearly they don't. Obviously they don't. We used to have these weird polygonal models that look ludicrous. Their hands were just big squares.
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
It's funny actually, I saw an article the other day saying that the art of 3D has been lost, and that actually those models and the way that game looked is better artistically than what we have today. I don't know why, what that's about, but what do you reckon about that?
I wouldn't say it's been lost. I think it's evolved to a point it's unrecognisable to that. If you look at a 2D game, you can clearly see, it depends what style they go for, but you can clearly see it's got the roots of the 2D game in it still. Mm-hmm. If you play the Resident Evil 2 remake and then you play the original, the difference is just unbelievable, isn't it? You can almost not see the traces of one into the other. I don't think it's been lost. I just think it's one of those where if you're gonna go 3D over time, it's gonna evolve more than 2D does,
Yeah, I agree with that. So this for me is one that it's going to be a day one. I can't wait for it.
Lovely. So that's our thoughts on Gamescom as a whole. And again, thank you to Alex for covering it for us. Let us know in the comment section what you thought of the week as a whole and which games you're looking forward to. Don't forget, if you're looking for eShop credit to pick any games up, you can use our website switchup.gg to get your eShop cards, and doing so does get you 5% of your purchase price back as cash back. There are links down there to places such as PlayAsia as well, and again, using our link and code does save you a bit of money and it does help the channel out, which is much appreciated. Thank you to our patrons and our channel members for your continued support, and to each and every one of you for watching our videos. Take care, and until next time, happy gaming.